Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tarda Zone. This is the Tarda Zone Talk. Sorry, I was just talking there, didn't realise I was fucking muted, and we're really back, aren't we? It's Monday, so I want to thank everybody. We had over 400 people tune in to watch my first stream back, and I have to say it meant a lot. I didn't actually think that the stream would gain as much attention and traction as it did, because obviously I haven't been on in a long time, but over 400 people and still continues to be watched. So obviously, if you haven't watched the first stream, you can go and watch our conversation with Lee and Jack, where we discuss the controversy surrounding RTD. And we did say, obviously, because it's such a big topic, that we would do a second stream on RTD, and that's what we're here to do today. But just before that, I just want to briefly comment on the comments that Christopher Eccleston has made, again, saying that he would have no problem coming back to Doctor Who, and we all know the criteria that is required for RTD, or not for Russell, for Christopher Eccleston, I should say, to come back to Doctor Who, and that would mean getting rid of that parasite RTD. So, obviously, for anybody that didn't watch the first stream, we spoke about how RTD treated fans, and the fact that in his latest interview, he came out with some extraordinary, and I would have to say they were extraordinary. A couple of days later, after the dust has settled, I still find it extremely concerning that he is allowed to publicly view his views the way he has, especially in what he is saying. It is highly dangerous. And the fact that he's allowed without impunity to speak his nonsense is baffling to me. Now, this should be, if this was any other decent industry, this should be the end of RTD. But unfortunately, it won't. Now, will it be the end of RTD in relation to Doctor Who? Well, there is supposed to be this Christmas special, and someone made a comment in the comment section after the stream and says you would hope that this would turn the BBC off from doing the Christmas special. You would like to think that, but I've got to be honest with you, I highly doubt that BBC would oust them now. I think they want them back to fix, which I wouldn't even bother, apparently, to fix the mess that he's made. Why would you want him to do that? Just let him go. Start from scratch. You know what I mean? I think real Doctor Who fans, and I'm not talking about the fake fans out there, I think real Doctor Who fans wouldn't mind foregoing a Christmas special if it meant that BBC were going to do right by Doctor Who. Not anybody, I've got to say, for any Doctor Who fan that I've been talking to personally, nobody is actually wanting this Christmas special. And, Doctor Who and Christmas are very special. But it seems that no fan in their right mind, a real fan in their right mind, wants RTD to write this Christmas special. And the reason why is because he is anti-religious. I mean, you just have to listen to everything that he says. He is anti-Christmas. Jack, I did send you that email, lad, and tell Lee as well that I sent him an email, because I did say bring his back on. So the emails are already sent. So if you want to come on, because I'm not staying on long tonight, because the last stream was over 2 hours. So I'm only doing an hour. So if you want to come on, please do. Because after this stream, the next stream will be Friday. And I obviously do want to change topic and talk about the AI situation within Doctor Who. We will cover more on the Christopher Eccleston stuff and all of the other stuff that is happening within Doctor Who. There's not much, but the stuff that has been talked about, some of it is a bit eye-opening. So, of course, I will give my opinion on everything. I'm still catching up, lads and ladies, on the stuff, because obviously, we've been away for a while. So I am catching up, and we will have plenty of topics moving forward. And as I said, we'll have 2 streams a week now. So we'll start off nice and easy, build ourselves back up, and then we'll see what happens then moving forward. But as I said, the very first stream, in context to the way the channel has been, was highly successful. So I want to thank everybody that did tune in. I mean, to have 2,000 odd subscribers and to get 400 views on a stream and I haven't streamed in months, that was absolutely fantastic. And thanks everybody who left a comment as well, everybody that liked. And if you could hype the streams as well, folks. Some of you are still not hyping the streams. I would like you to hype the streams. It does help. Apparently, if you hype them, you can get more attention on your stream. So if you could do that with this stream right now, hit the like button, hit the hype button, and then after it, then leave a comment. Don't leave a comment now. Leave a comment in the live chat. And of course, then if there's something you didn't say, leave one in the comment section as well. Do you know, I don't think people believe I'm on, because I've said I'll come on every other time, and something has come up. So I better fucking share this stream. I haven't shared it. I used to be able to share it in all the Doctor Who groups, but now I can only share it on X, because I'm banned from most Doctor Who groups, because they hate me guts, because I'm highly controversial and stuff. On a good note, actually, I got a message off Dan from the Spacebook. So he's organising a stream for the 13th, Monday the 13th. So on that week, I will do the stream on the Tuesday, so I can stream on Dan's channel on the Monday. So look out for that. I'll let you know, obviously, when we get closer. The 13th is the date that we're looking at right now, and I will be on with Queen Charlotte, and we will be discussing a number of topics. So I don't think it'll be just restricted to Doctor Who, which is good, because I do have things to say about the James Gunn DC universe. It's getting a lot of stick, but for people that don't know, I did like the new James Gunn Superman. It might be controversial to some people out there, but I actually enjoyed it. And compared to what Snyder was giving us, in fairness, I liked the tone of the movie. Obviously, it's not perfect and it does have its problems, but overall, I found Superman, the new Superman movie, highly enjoyable. And you know what? If I enjoyed it, then, I'm happy. So I don't give a shit. There's a lot of people throwing their toys out of the pram and crying, "Oh, we want Zack Snyder back." Yeah, do you do that, you kill DC, but that's for another topic. So, just in case anyone doesn't know what he said, RTD, I used to think kids were the future, but they've all been radicalized into bastards. Jack just reminding people what we were speaking about on Friday. And that's what he said, folks. Now, look, I'm all for free speech, I am. And I think it should be encouraged. But when you've got a man talking about shit like this, saying your kids are radicalized bastards, and then saying that gays are the master race, which is another one of his comments, you're heading into very dangerous territory. And, free speech comes at a price. Now we've got, look at this. I'll put Jack on now in a minute, but he's showing me something behind the scenes. I don't know if he wants me to put him on, but I'll put you on screen now. Is that all right? And you can show everybody I won't tell them what it is, but here, have a look at this, folks. We've got Jack with us here now. And we've got, and there as a T1000. There he is with his big ass gun. Look at that. Lights on his eyes. That's deadly, that is. Anyway. Terminator. they've managed to even fuck up Terminator franchise as well, haven't they? Jeez, don't get me started on that.
Well, at least you can appreciate the first two and just leave it at that.
No, right. Okay, see, this is where where I kind of go a bit militant. I actually like Rise of the Machines, right? I know they didn't have the original actor playing John Connor, and the actor that they got wasn't really great, but I love Rise of the Machines. I think Rise of the Machines was the last good Terminator. It wasn't great, wasn't as good as the first two, and never will be, right? But I think it was the last time that they treated the franchise with respect. If you catch me drift.
I think Salvation is underrated. At least it did something different.
Well, yeah, it tried to do.
You know, it was cool. It was cool. I like that you got to see the earlier models, and they were all
Yeah.
slow and,
I think
and
the whole
bulky and
Christian
stuff.
Bale. Yeah. I think what kind of ruined that movie as well is at the time Christian Bale had that big meltdown. Do you remember he had that big rant on set? Like, yeah. I think that's what killed it. But yeah, I wasn't a huge fan now, but I will agree with you. They did try to do something different, and I did appreciate it. It's just the way I view Terminator movies, whether it's right or wrong, it's Arnold, and if it doesn't have Arnold in it, it's not a Terminator movie, and that's
Dark Fate had Arnold.
That was shit. yeah. That. Listen, I put that on right because I heard everybody complaining about it, right, and I said I have to watch it myself just to see how bad this is, and I got to the scene where they're on the beach and he's up at the bar. And when I saw that scene, I knocked it off. That was it. As soon as you kill John Connor.
Well, they did. They already did that already. They did that already in Genesis. They made him the bad guy. Oh, spoiler alert! Sorry, everyone.
I have a soft spot for that movie, even though I know it's terrible. And it is terrible.
Same. It's if you switch your brain off, it's fun.
It actually is. I agree with you. It's just a pity they didn't add. What was the time? They didn't add the 90. What was it? The 19. There was a timeline they didn't add to the movie, which I believe if they did have added that timeline into the movie, would have made a much better movie. But yeah, I think it was your woman that played Khaleesi and your man that played the fucking what's his name, Reese. Those two were miscast in that. Yeah. Emily Clark was miscast as Sarah Connor. Like, she gave it a go, right? I won't knock her. She gave it a go, but she didn't have that charisma that Linda Hamilton had, and she just didn't.
I tell you what, though, Noel. As a Terminator fan, have you ever seen Terminator: The Sarah Connor Chronicles?
I watched it in the early days, yeah, but I never really got into it. But that was just me personally, because at the time I preferred drinking and going out and partying.
It's really good. It's got that actress from Game of Thrones and
that's right, Summer
Dredd.
Yeah, what's her name? Summer. What's her name? Summer. Because there's a joke. Summer fucking Law, or whatever her name is.
She's Irish.
What's her name? Sarah Connor. Hold on. Chronicles. There it is. It was, what's her fucking name? Yeah, Summer Gao or Summer, yeah.
She's great.
Fucking, yeah. And you got your woman that was in Game of Thrones in it as well.
Well, yeah, she was in Game of Thrones.
Yeah. So you got one or two there that you'd recognise. But yeah, it's one of those shows. I mean, they're on Rotten Tomatoes. I know you don't take Rotten Tomatoes too serious, but 84% Rotten Tomatoes, 7.6 on Prime Video, and 7.6 on IMDb, which is very good for TV shows. Like, you know, if you rate anything under that, I wouldn't even take the rating.
Sadly, it was cancelled after just 2 seasons. Not because it was bad, but just because, you know, probably Warner Brothers.
Probably money as well, you know. Again, you know, the problem with the Terminator franchise is the same problem that you have with Alien franchise. You can be fans, saying, oh, well, he's having Terminator fans. Now he realises that Dark Fate was actually fucking shit. Apparently now the rumour is he's thinking of doing another Terminator movie. Listen, I'm sick of all of these old directors. I've said it time and time again. James Cameron, Ridley Scott, Spielberg, all of these people going back to old franchises to relive past glories doesn't work.
Them.
Right? He killed fucking Gladiator, Ridley Scott.
He killed Alien.
Too. Right? He killed Alien with that fucking Prometheus shite, and then the next one, which is even worse.
Covenant.
Yeah, that movie. That movie is blasphemous. That movie is an absolute disgrace.
And Romulus after that with the awful AI CGIing of Ian Holmes.
Oh, that scene where
he said it, and he said it. I nearly got up and walked out the cinema.
Oh, seriously, man. Right, I know we've kind of strayed away.
Lee's on the way
from Doctor Who, but we'll wait until Lee gets here. And then we'll get into the car, even if it's only for a half an hour. As I said, I have to go after because I have to keep. If I don't keep the hours, lads, then I won't be able to do 2 streams a week. Do you know what I mean? And I want to keep me promise to you now because you have stuck by me. And that, as I said, that last stream that we did just proved it. So I want to reward his loyalty by fucking keeping to what I said, and I'm going to be doing that. So we're here now for the second stream, but just that look. Here's where I am on Terminator, Predator, and fucking what was the other one we were talking about? Terminator, Predator, and Alien.
And Terminator, yeah.
Yeah, right. All of those 3 franchises, just need to stop making them.
Yeah.
Just leave it alone until someone comes along that understands what the Alien franchise is supposed to be.
I'm a lifelong Doctor Who fan, but I'd say those 3 franchises are my holy trinity of sci-fi.
Oh, I love Predator 1 and 2. But Predator 2 is fucking so underrated. It's
so underrated, yeah.
Unbelievable. Danny Glover, seriously, man, the whole tribal shit that they were doing in that went over people's heads, that second one. That second one, I would even actually go as far as to say that the second one is even better than the first one. There's more in the second one than there's more lore in the second one than there is in the first one.
Yeah, I'd say the look of the Predator was better in the first one, and probably the horror. But in the second one, I mean they go so much into it, and you get to see all the different tribe at the end. It's a great film. I don't know why people blast it so much. I mean, you go from the jungle to the concrete jungle. Makes sense. Otherwise, they just remake the first film again.
Yeah, which would be shit.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. It would. It'd be shit. It'd be just a rehash. Oh, here we go again in the jungle. This time it's not Arnold, it's someone else. It'd be shit. Like, do you know what I mean?
Well, that's what they did in Predators, wasn't it?
Well. Yeah. I don't, man. Seriously, they just need to stop.
But, do they? Anyway, what really buggers me is when they just have to keep changing the design when it was perfect.
Yeah, I know. I've never understood that either. Same with the Alien. They've done that with the Xenomorph as well.
Yeah,
they've redesigned the Xenomorph so much that people actually forget what the original. Well, we don't, fans don't, but the original Xenomorph is
the definitive one. It was sculpted by the artist himself.
Exactly. So that's when you see how far for Hollywood has actually fallen, it's actually sad in a way. Anyway, let's get back to RTD, and we do have Lee in the chat, so I'm going to get him on straight away because that gives us 40 minutes then to continue the conversation that we were having on RTD. We'll see if they want to actually continue the conversation. If not, we'll talk about something else. I don't mind. But after the stream, I just want to see if anybody else, like Jack and Lee, if they have any other comments to make that they didn't make on the stream. So here is Lee. So we're after being talking about Terminator, Predator, and stuff like that. But we'll go back to Doctor Who now. So you've had a couple of days, Lee, to kind of soak it all in and see the fallout. And and stuff. So, how are you feeling now? And has your opinions changed since we spoke on Friday?
I'm pissed. I'm still pissed. I think the man's a complete buffoon. I think he's a hypocrite, calling the young generation radicalized bastards because they won't radicalize it in his direction. It's just seeing through his shit. That's what's happened. They've had all this stuff thrust on them since kindergarten, probably. You know, they've had all these radical leftist teachers getting into their brains since, you know, since they start small trousers and then all the way up, and they've just gone, this is bollocks, and they've just seen through it all, and he can't handle that. He doesn't like it.
What's amazing is, and I was just showing, as I showed you earlier, Lee, it's like the younger kids, they want to go back to the 90s. Like that, they're going into video game stores in America and they're asking for GameCubes, Nintendo 64s. They're completely disillusioned with this modern hell that we live in. They're just like, oh, you know, they're looking at their parents, they're looking at the grandparents, and they're going, I want some of that, you know, where everything was so much easier to understand.
Here's the thing as well. I was literally having this conversation with Cheryl today. You know, when we always talk about, you know, what it was like for us growing up back in the day, and, you know, we saying it was safer and all of this, and then you get some people, yeah, but this was going on at the time, and this was, yeah, but in communities and stuff like that, when you were where you were living, right, you always felt secure. Kids, that you didn't feel like your kids were under threat. You know, the cartoons, the only thing that was wrong with cartoons back in the day is that the parents were moaning that they were too violent. I mean, I remember in the UK they were bitching and moaning about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It was originally called Ninja Turtles, but they had to change it to Hero Turtles in the UK because a group of mothers got together and we're going mad about the violence in cartoons. But the violence in cartoons didn't turn us all into psychopaths.
Yeah, but it's funny because if the parents actually watched that show, which they clearly never did, it's the 87 cartoon isn't known for violence. In fact, they have the weapons, but they never bloody do anything with them. Yeah, it wasn't until 2003 where it actually got properly violent.
Yeah, the comic book. Have you ever seen the original comics?
Yeah, they're dark.
Yeah, the original comics are uber violent. Like, they are violent.
I'd love to see like a TMNT movie, but based on the original comic.
I agree with you, but at the same time, I would say because of the way they've done it over the decades and then the 90s movies, to do a version like that now, I think would turn a lot. Not us, obviously the older generation, you yourself, because we would like shit like that, but they make these movies for kids today, so I don't think they would do that because they'd lose an awful lot of their young audience that they try to target for this. I would agree with you. I would love to see an X-rated version of that comic book, and I'd love to see one of the stories being turned into a movie. I think it'd be brilliant. Get Quentin Tarantino to direct.
I know it's a bit off topic, but there's rumors that there could be a TMNT movie that's a continuation from the 1990 film, and that they're already doing animation tests. And the rumor is that they want it to be darker, like closer to the comics, not as dark or gory, but, you know, much darker than the ones you've seen for past 20 years.
Yeah, didn't they try to do that, though, if I remember correctly, right? Did they try to do that with the second movie, or was it the third movie, The Secret of the Ooze? They did try to go a little bit darker. I think
yeah, but there was studio pushback, I think.
Yeah. That's right. It was definitely the second one. I remember, because the third one, then they obviously then went back to formula of the first one, because the second one actually kind of veered off and tried to be a little bit darker. But yeah, studio interferes. I'd see the studios think they know what fans want. They clearly don't. They clearly don't. Sometimes they get it right. Look, sometimes we have to hold our hands up and say sometimes they do get it right. But the certain fans, I mean, the Turtles, I mean, they've mismanaged that. I mean, the Megan Fox one had potential, and I call it the Megan Fox one because we know why Megan Fox was put in that movie. It wasn't because she could act. But I did like that origin story. I know it was different to the original origin story, but I did like it. And I thought it was going to go somewhere. But again, because it was made by Nickelodeon, there was always going to be this Nickelodeon kind of theme to the thing. So it never really pushed the boundaries that I was hoping it would push. But again, I did watch them because I am a fan of that franchise, to be quite honest with you. But you can't beat the 90s movies. I mean, for me, those movies are the definitive, live action movies. And if that rumor is true, and they are making a fourth one, and they are thinking of finally going down that dark direction the way it should be, then I would be 100% behind it all the way. But Nickelodeon, if I see Nickelodeon on it, the Nickelodeon fucking thing come up, then forget about it. We know we're getting the same shit. It's not going to be dark. Nickelodeon would not put their name to that. Trust me.
Sorry, guys.
Anyway.
I keep hijacking the stream and bringing in different topics, but
yeah,
I'm just
I know.
so fed up with RTD.
It's good. I don't think any... I'll ask the people in the chat, do you want us to still continue the RTD chat, or are you okay with this kind of chat? And then we could talk about... Because there's other stuff to talk about. We could talk about Superman. We could talk about...
We'll do RTD for this one, because it's a short stream. And then we should definitely do streams where we talk about fun stuff.
Right, so Paramount does own Nickelodeon. Yeah, but just keep Nickelodeon's name out of it if they're doing this new movie. Because if you put the Nickelodeon logo on, then people are going to assume it's for kids, and more than likely it will be. The next rated fucking Turtles movie means exactly that. It's over 18 and it's not for fucking kids to watch. This is what I hate as well, like. Certain franchises that we've grown up with have been turned into franchises for kids. In reality, they're not actually franchises for kids. Like, do you know what I mean? So,
well, it all started with the toys because they wanted to market them towards kids. So when Alien vs Predator come out, they deliberately took out most of the gore because they wanted families to go and see it, which was a big mistake. But it just come off the back of the kids' toys from the 90s, which was weird in itself that they sold adult franchises to kids, but they were very successful.
Yeah, that's right. See, that's the thing. It's actually gas, because the reason why it's kind of glad this topic's brought. It's actually mad because like 3 days ago, I literally watched a YouTube video on this Turtles franchise and the comics and stuff, and I was amazed to see that it was actually, as you said yourself, they turned this adult it was the toys. That's what started it all off, and then that sparked then the cartoon, and then the rest is fucking history. But like, it's mad how certain adult franchises were there were toys available for kids. Like it's mad, but that's look. I mean, they made a shitload of money out of it. So some people say they did right, and some people say they did wrong. But I recommend Project. Well, listen. Well, look, I watched The Martian. Me missus has read both books. So I'll watch it. But listen, the one thing I will say about it is, if you have the media coming out and saying that it's anti-woke, right, then you're onto a winner. Simple as that. If the media are hating on it and saying it's anti-woke and it's anti-LGBTQ plus and all of this other rubbish, then you're on to a winner. I seen some gobshite today actually tried to say that the main character was bisexual. Nowhere in the book does it say he's fucking bisexual. They actually say he had an ex-girlfriend, right? Not bisexual, right? And apparently Rocky is what was it, non-binary or something. Rocky is not non-binary either, you fucking idiots, right? This is what's wrong with these people. Everything that they say they want to fucking check, right? Fucking leave it. Don't watch the movie then, right? If it doesn't have what you want in it, then don't watch it, but don't ruin it for everybody else either, right? It's already made 300 million, right? It's only out 4 days, and it's made 300 million in the box office. The movie is gonna, if it continues this trend, this movie is easily gonna make between 800-900 million. I wouldn't say it'd make $1 billion, but if it makes $1 billion, even fucking better, right? And then the writer comes out, right, after having the success with the movie and basically came out and shit all over Star Trek, right? Saying modern Trek is shit. And then some dickhead comes at him, another writer comes at him and says, well, just because your movie is done well doesn't mean you need to bash other writers. They're not writers, though. They're propagandists, right? They're not writing Star Trek, right? They're thinking, oh, there's a Klingon, let's put him in a fucking dress, right? That's what they're thinking about. Not even writing stories. Don't get me started on Starfleet Academy, right? Because that's another franchise of mine that I grew up with as a kid, right? And the last bit of Star Trek, that Kurtzman Trek, you even want to call it that I watched, right? I watched the 4th season of Strange New Worlds. The 2nd season, you could see it was going in the direction that I didn't want it to go in, so I stopped watching that. And I watched the last season of Picard, and the last season of Picard is probably the only Trekkie thing that we've gotten off these gobshites, right? It felt like real Trek, and it was a nice ending for the Next Generation crew.
I kid you not, no. Like, we were, Lee, do you remember we were watching that Alien documentary? That DVD? And but it started off perfectly normal, like, here's the wonderful sets, here's the props, this is how this was made. And then there was this I don't even know how to describe her, like this feminist, typical millennial privileged white woman who just completely goes off on a tangent about how Alien is all a metaphor for patriarchal oppression. And I'm like, sweetheart, the head is literally a you-know-what.
Mm-hmm.
I don't... But the way she was describing it, I mean, God.
It was ridiculous.
Someone there, Nick, is saying that the Harry Potter show is also affected by DEI. Right, let me just address this very, very briefly, right? I think it's gone, right, so the trailer ended up getting millions of views, right? And it tells me one thing, is that everybody is fed up with both sides complaining, right? Now I know why you are saying about the DEI, it's in relation to Black Snape and all of that other stuff, right? And some people are saying, well, why is it being made? But they're all pro-trans, so you can understand why they're coming out, because it's J.K. Rowling's. But here's where I stand on it. You have the movies, okay? So if you don't like what they're doing with the TV show, what's the point in complaining? Okay? Yeah, I think a lot of people forget that J.K. Rowling is actually a lefty. The only thing that she disagrees with the left on is the trans issue. That's it. She's BLM, right? She's all for DEI, right? She's all for all the other lefty stuff. The only thing that she draws the line on is the trans ideology. That's it, right? So I can't understand why people are so surprised that they did the same thing that they do with every shows to Harry Potter, right? But if you don't want to watch it because of Black Snape or whatever else they've done, that's fine. You just have the movies, right? But I think there's a bit of fatigue now with generally people out there. They're sick of the trans cult bashing the show because J.K. Rowling wrote the books, right? And I think people are getting sick of all the Black Snape. I'm sick of hearing about it, right? Fair enough, Black Snape. Get over it now, right? There's the show is going to be made whether you like it or not, but you have the movies. That's what I can't understand. If you don't want the TV show and you think the TV show is a waste of time, that's fine. That's fair enough. You've said it now. You don't have to keep repeating the same thing over and over and over and over again. It's not going to get you anywhere. They're already writing the 2nd season, right? They've got a 10-year contract. There's 10 seasons of this fucking show to be made. So, there's no point of listen, Black Snape is not the only person that I think is bad casting anyway, right? The fella that's playing fucking, what's his name? Dumbledore. Fucking Simon Pegg's partner, isn't it? Yeah, he's fucking shit. The trailer was actually shit, by the way. Right? The whole trailer was shit. There was nothing good about it. Right? So, I mean, I don't know why people, you have the movies. If you enjoy the movies, watch the movies.
It's the fact that they dressed the Snape character in a black tracksuit.
I saw that. Yeah, I did.
I was like, "Are you kidding?
Yeah,
like, you're so woke that you've just become like racist with your stereotyping."
He's gonna wear Nike shoes and hold his one sideways.
But doesn't Snape die anyway? Snape dies anyway. So how long will he be in it for? Then he's going to be killed off, isn't he? So like, I mean,
yeah, but that's not till much later.
That's not till later on, like quite later on.
All right, so it might be 6 or 7.
But the problem is, no. Do you know the whole Harry Potter plot line about mudbloods?
No, I'm not a fan of Harry Potter.
Oh, right. Well,
because of the new
basically, there's this complete, like, in the films, like, I'll just rush through it because you're not a fan, but in the films, and this is what people really have a problem with, and they know that they're going to use this. In the films, there's this kind of wizard superiority with some wizard families because they're pure wizard blood, parents-wise, but some wizard families, there's like one wizard parent where it's the mother or the father, and the other is just a normal person. So they're in the eyes of pure blood wizards, they're half-breeds, and they call them mudbloods. Snape was one of these. So you just know that there's going to be a racial thing brought in there. And also, Harry Potter's dad bullied Snape at school, and even hung him from a tree upside down. So, yeah.
Well, the optics are not going to look good there.
And even Harry's mom, because Harry's mom was kind of interested in Snape until Harry's dad came along. So she's going to pass down this black kid for the white guy who's bullying him. And look, everyone's just like, I mean, if we lived in a world where race truly meant nothing like it did back in the 90s, people wouldn't be, losing their minds over this. But because we've seen this stuff time and time again, we just know they're going to do this.
Yeah, I mean, look, I personally don't get the reasoning behind doing the Harry Potter show anyway, when you've got the movies, and the movies seem to me done well. I'm not a Harry Potter fan. See, when Harry Potter came out, I was already I think I was in my 20s or so. So that was way past my age group. So I never got into Harry Potter. It's not. I don't like wizards anyway. I'm not into shit with wizards. Right? I don't like fantasy shit anyway, except for maybe Lord of the Rings. That's different, kind of. But I was never a fan of Harry Potter anyway. And I actually don't see the relevance in making a show. But if HBO want to fucking waste millions on making a new Harry Potter show, let them, right? If it's going to be as bad as fans think, right? Trust me, they'll lose millions on it, and I'll be surprised if it goes the whole 10-year contract. And remember, it's HBO Max as well. HBO don't hang around if things flop, a bit like fucking Netflix.
They say they've got a contract for 10 years. Be amazing to see if it actually lasts the full time, or if they just cancel it after 3 seasons.
I don't think it will last the 10 years. If they're going down the route that everybody thinks they're going to go down, it's not going to last 10 years. But the thing about it is that, she's approved. People need to realise that J.K. Rowling would haven't, because HBO made it clear that she does have input, and she would have okayed the Black Snape. So, it's her you need to be given out to, as well as HBO
Didn't they
Max.
cast a Black Hermione for the stage play?
I think so. I'm not 100% sure now on that one. But if they did, that just goes to show you. That's what I'm saying. J.K. Rowling is a radical. The only thing that she doesn't agree with the left on is the trans ideology. That's the only thing that they're separated on. And apparently she's a right-wing Nazi. But, you just can't make it up anymore. Anyway, Harry Potter. Fuck Harry Potter. Never a fan anyway. So let's move on from fucking Harry Pothead.
What was the recent Star Trek show that everyone hates?
Starfleet Academy.
That's it. Back to RTD. Yeah. Apparently, he was a huge fan of that and is really pissed off it's cancelled.
Yeah, he's a huge fan of it. He's a huge fan of it because it's one thing that gives his shite a run for its money. It's so bad that it almost makes him look good.
All right, well, I'm going to let you in with a little secret. So, a bit of an exclusive here for you all. Right. RTD isn't pissed because of that. RTD is pissed because what was actually going to happen, and it already started, there was a collab set up. Now, if you watched a particular episode, I think it was Strange New Worlds, they had it in the TARDIS appears in Strange New Worlds. There was going to be a collab with them, and there was going to be a collab with Fortnite. And it was going to be this big major thing Fortnite was going to do, because Disney obviously had Doctor Who, and there was going to be this big thing where you play the game and there'd be a bit of lore and all of that shit with the game. And Star Trek Strange New Worlds featured the TARDIS, and Doctor Who was supposed to then their part of the agreement was it was going to the Enterprise was going to make an appearance in a Doctor Who episode. So there were plans. There were plans to actually expand both universes and connect them. Believe it or not. So
I mean,
that's all gone. That's all gone to shit now, because obviously the takeover that's happening with Paramount. And of course, RTD fucked it up with Disney. You know, you give him 100 million and then he gives you that queer slop that he gave you. And I'm sorry, I hate using that word, but at the end of the day, that's what it is. That's what he tried to do with it. He tried to queer and trans it up, and he ruined it. And I'm sick and tired of it. And I'm done. I'm sick and tired. All of these are science fiction shows, right? If you want these are trans and these are queer stuff in shows, go and make these our own. But you have already made yours around and they flopped, right? So what you have decided to do, because they flop on their own, because they're brand new, you decided to use already established franchise to push this shit, and all you've managed to do is destroy Star Trek, Star Wars, and Doctor Who. End of story. Because you are so fucking, you've got this tunnel vision that you have to speak up for certain demographics out there. And I don't get it. That's not what the shows are supposed to be for. And by the way, as well, William Shatner has been saying stuff, but I don't think he's actually running his account. And he said Star Trek was always political. Yes, it was political up to a point, but it wasn't preachy. And you're absolutely wrong on what you're saying. Now, I know you're in your 90s, and you're probably thinking yourself, you spent years like kind of pushing back on woke, and now you're coming to the end of your life. You're now like changing your fucking tune. I suggest you shut the fuck up, right? Nobody wants to be listening to you, right? At the end of the day, Star Trek fans are the ones that made you, and everybody else that's complaining that fans don't like Star Trek. We put you in that privileged position. You have money because of fans, right? So when I see Robert Picardo coming out and treating fans the way RTD treated Jack and telling fans to fuck up and they're fake fans and they haven't got a clue, you're absolutely wrong. You're in a privileged position, you twat, because of us. We paid your wages. You are rich because of us, right? And for anybody that thinks that I'm talking bullshit, if you didn't have the fans watching this because people think that critics are the ones that make shows successful, no, they don't. Fans do. And without those fans, Robert Picardo, William Shatner, and all these other people that have been complaining about Star Trek fans wouldn't be in the privileged fucking position that they're in if it wasn't for those said fans. So shut the fuck up. Nobody wants to listen to any of this, right? Because at the end of the day, Shatner is out of the fucking Star Trek franchise a long, long fucking time anyway. Who is he to fucking speak? I don't give a shit if he was Captain James T. Cook, right? Doesn't give him the fucking moral high ground or thinks that he can talk for fans. You don't talk for fans and don't speak for us, right? And same with Doctor Who as well. All you little twats out there that still support RTD, the fucking cheekiest and the neckiest, you're just as bad as him. A bunch of little sellout clowns that don't even understand what these shows are all about. Then, fucking sicky as I am. All he is, right? And I just want to say one more thing, right? That fans on our side of the fandom, you need to stop watching Doctor Who now, right? You need to stop watching it. None of this shit anymore. Oh, let's give it one more chance. Let's give it one more chance. No more chances. They had their chance, right? Chris Chibnall ruined it. RTD was to come back and fix it. They had their chance. They fucked it up. He was given 100 million, right? 100 fucking million. And that's what he gave us. Right? He should never work in the industry again, and Disney should be fucking suing that man. Right? That's the tripe he gave us and put the Doctor Who logo on it. And there's still people out there that are still loyal and still saying, oh, I'll give it another chance, I'll give it another chance. Let's see what happens. Let's see. No! They had their chance. Right? He had his chance, he fucked it up. Doctor Who cannot go any further. It can't. It has to finish now. It's done. I don't want the Christmas special. RTD is coming back for that, right? And even if they got rid of him, they'll just get some other gobshite to write the Christmas special. That would probably be just the same as him. So what's the point? People need to stop supporting this show now. And thankfully, we have actually seen that the recent season, the last season, and the spin-off of the Sea Devils obviously didn't do too well in the ratings. So there is a boycott happening. But we need to finish this off now. We need to finish this off. Christmas special, right? It was under, what was the last one? Under 2 million, right? If we can get that under 1 million, right? That Christmas special, right? Nobody tunes in and we can get that under 1 million. It's game over. They cannot recover from that. They can't recover as it is, but they still think they can. But we've got to put the final nail in the coffin. It's up to us as fans now, right? It's up to us as fans now. This is an important time. Lee actually brought it up when we used to stream. Obviously, a few months back, we did an actual stream on this. Do you remember, Lee? And you actually said, you know, nothing changes unless the organiser, BBC itself, and the people within that are gone. We're never going to get change. And by the way, just today, a BBC radio presenter has been sacked because of his conduct, right? Because of his conduct. Today, he was sacked because of his conduct. Now, they haven't given any details, but you can imagine what those details are, right? So how can anybody still support the BBC as well when they're literally chasing old age pensioners for the fucking TV license, and then they've got a bunch of scumbags working for them that are either abusing women, children, or fucking whatever, right? People need to cop on. People need to cop on, right? BBC is not your friend. Never was your friend. At one time, BBC was respected. It's not respected anymore, and rightly so. And anything that they create shouldn't be respected, right? Simple as that. You're supporting a fucking channel that has fucking sheltered fucking what kind of people. Look at Jimmy fucking Savile, for fuck's sake, and Hugh Edwards. Right, him on the fucking telly, the Queen dying, and he's sending pictures to fucking God knows who.
Echo.
Yeah, the reason why there's an echo is because someone has YouTube on in the background.
Not me.
Anyway, I'm finished with me rant.
Cinnamon
says
right.
it's our room. We're only going for an hour, Cinnamon, unfortunately, because we went 2 hours, and that'll be 3 hours, and then I'll have 2 hours for another 2 streams to do until it resets. So
well, you're right. I would say hi, Cinnamon, by the way.
Go on.
And hi, Garbage. Yeah, for all their talk about change, and the show's all about change this, change that, progress this, progress that. It's amazing, isn't it? And you compare the first 20 years of Classic Who, there was genuine change. You know, the people at the top changed, the actors changed, everything changed. It changed constantly. But in the last 20 odd years of this New Who, it's the same people. It's the same people who've been running it from day one.
Mm-hmm.
Chibnall came along and sacked a load of people, whatever, but they all came back when RTD came back, you know. And exactly how many people did Chibnall get rid of, and how many people were still part of that collective, you know.
Here's a question. Compared to, because I've been kind of asking myself this question over these past couple of days myself, Lee, in relation to Chris Chibnall. I mean, I think I can safely sit here and say that even though Chibnall did a lot of damage with the feminization of the Doctor and bringing in, you know, the likes of the fugitive Doctor and stuff like that and the Timeless Child, if you compare it to the damage that RTD has actually done, you know, I've come to the conclusion that RTD is worse than Chibs, like, because, you know, even though Chibs did what he did try something new. He did try and put his vision forward. Okay, we didn't like it as fans, but he didn't go as far as what RTD, how far RTD has gone with pushing certain ideologies and stuff like. Do you get me? So when I look at it and I look at RTD compared to Chris Chibnall's era, I think RTD has actually done more damage than Chris Chibnall. What's your opinion on that? Do you agree, or do you think they're both equally responsible?
I mean, it's a choice between two evils, isn't it? I mean, Chibnall had a very woke feminist view for Doctor Who.
Exactly.
RTD had, and that horrible word, view for Doctor Who. He went back on everything he said he wasn't going to do, because they said to him back in the day, oh, so you're the famous gay writer, are you going to make Doctor Who gay? He's like, oh, that'd be ridiculous. It's silly. That'd be stupid. And then he goes ahead and he does just that. So it's, you know, I think both of them are just as bad as each other. I don't think it's good or healthy that people should go, oh, do you know, Chibnall wasn't that bad just because RTD was worse. I'm like, no, Chibnall was bad, and we all had to suffer through that. A lot of Moffat was bad, you know, and we all had to suffer through that. But I hear everyone praising Moffat like he's the god of Doctor Who. I'm like, you people are idiots, or you've let your standards slip so badly. You know, even RTD's original era has problems. It's just we saw things differently back then. But I think these guys really have just proven that they were never right for the show. If you were to say, like, in terms of damage to the show's health bar, I would say, yes, technically RTD has hit it harder. And I think because RTD did something not even Chibnall did, for all his, you know, ego, he actually attacked people. I can't think of many instances where Chibnall got into fights with fans or even engaged fans at all. He's too much of a coward, to be honest. But I think maybe even he had the sense of, like, I can't go attacking people. I just don't respond to any of my criticism. But RTD, he was more than happy to respond to criticism. In fact, he had, I think he took a pleasure out of doing it, quite honestly.
I mean, Chibs didn't directly attack fans. You're absolutely spot on that. He just got BBC to put out statements to do it. That was the difference. He didn't actually do it himself directly. Because remember, we did during the Chris Chibnall era, because we'd always have a laugh about it. Oh, here's another statement from the BBC. Do you remember after that cancer scene where Jodie Whittaker's doctor is being a total bitch when Graham is talking about the cancer diagnosis, like, and fucking... Like, that went down like a lead balloon, and BBC had to put out a statement in relation to that. So Chibs didn't do it directly like RTD did with you and other fans. And that's the ironic thing about his latest rant, folks. Bring that back to his latest rant. It's the fact that he's calling out the toxic culture on X. Yeah, he's engaged in the toxic culture on Instagram. And his fans then that are on X have engaged in that toxic behavior against fans like me, Jack and Lee, and many of you that are in the chat here have received some form of bullying or attacks in relation to your stance on Doctor Who. Look, the bottom line is I'm a fan. The bottom line is I just want the show to be respected. It deserves that respect because it's the longest running sci-fi show in the world, and it is, and that's a fact. And it deserves that respect. And it's the same with Star Trek. that deserves the respect. You know, not so much Star Wars, because Star Wars does deserve respect, but compared to the other two, you know, Star Wars came out in what year? 1970. What was the first one? The first Star Wars movie came out in the 70s, wasn't it? And then you had the rest of them in the 80s. Like, so they're kind of fairly new compared to, you know, shows that started off in the 60s, like, you know, Doctor Who and Star Trek. They deserve the respect, but they're not getting it. And Alex Kurtzman, I mean, he's just proved that he hasn't got a clue. And he was never a fan of Star Trek. You know, as soon as he did that interview, just remember that we actually covered it on here. A lot of channels did. Do you remember he did that interview where he said that Star Trek was to be used as a platform to push whatever he wanted to push? Well, that's exactly what Chibs did, and that's exactly what RTD2 did. And Jack is right. We have to acknowledge that there were problems in RTD1. It was a different time, and I think that was accepted. Some of the things that were going on, because, you know, it was in some aspects it felt like Doctor Who, but on the other hand, it wasn't. As I said, I think Doctor Who never really came back. We got a hybrid of Doctor Who, which we were okay with at the time. I don't know what's happening with Jack there.
Oh, sorry.
He's like,
someone says Dune is the only great sci-fi at the moment. Haven't watched the first Star Wars movie was in 1977. So there you go. So, you know, Doctor Who and Trek all had almost a decade over them, more than a decade over them. So, like, you know, they're the franchise. I mean, I don't see Star Wars as a kind of a sci-fi thing anyway. I think it's kind of like cowboys in space sort of thing. So I don't take Star Wars. I'm not a Star Wars fan, but I've watched every single fucking thing related to Star Wars, because in my household, you grew up with them.
Like, in relationship to what you've been saying about, like you say, Alex Kurtzman says, oh, it needs to be used as a platform to push this. I think something which a lot of fans who love New Who and who grew up with it, like myself, really just cannot accept. That's exactly what RTD and John Barrowman was saying back in 2005, that it was very important to have a gay character on screen, that what makes Doctor Who such a wonderful show is that it enables you to, and, you know, have social conversations and messaging. And if you don't believe me, guys, if you think I'm making this up, you're fans. You should have the complete series on DVD box sets. Go and watch the confidentials. Go and listen to what he says. You know, I've been doing my research. I haven't just decided, oh, I hate RTD2, so all of his stuff is bad. I'm sorry, guys, it is there. I know you don't want to hear it. I know that's not what you want to hear. It's not what I wanted to hear, but it doesn't change the truth. You know, New Who just wasn't what Doctor Who was supposed to be. And no, it's not because it was ran by a gay man or that it featured gay characters. It was because it was written by someone who didn't know how to write sci-fi and who just wanted to make his own version of the show in his image. And that's exactly what he did. And then an even bigger idiot took over from him and made it in his image. And then an even bigger idiot took over from him and made it in his image.
Yeah, but in fairness to Moffat, right? Just a little bit in fairness to Moffat. I mean, his RTD era episodes are great. It's just when Moffat actually took over himself, then his ego took over. But if you look, I think what kept us watching at RTD1 wasn't RTD. It actually was Stephen Moffat. It was his episodes and episodes written by other people.
All right. So hold on. So I hear that argument. So, sorry, fan here. I know, I'm a geek. Stephen Moffat wrote 2 episodes for Series 1, 1 episode for Series 2, 1 episode for Series 3, and 2 episodes for Series 4.
Yeah.
And he's all that kept people watching out of 12 episodes a season.
Well, you had other writers as well, but yeah, primarily
You know what I mean? It's like it's just funny because, I mean, RTD even back then he tended to write most of the episodes. I mean, my favorite is Impossible Planet Satan Pit, and sadly that writer never got allowed back. And I think, you know, like you say, we know why, because he made RTD look rubbish.
Of course. I mean, you're right. It's always been there. Some of us have just, and I'll admit I was probably one of them that chose to accept this new hybrid version of Doctor Who because I was so desperate to have Doctor Who on TV again. I'd waited a long time, and as I said, the time the announcement came at a great time because I wouldn't be here talking to you today. So I'll be, as I said, no matter what I say about RTD, right, and I hate him now, but I'll always be thankful that he did bring it back because I wouldn't be alive today. So, you know, you know me, I'm just straightforward, which is I'll tell the truth. I was in a very bad point in my life, and then I got to see that trailer. I mean, that trailer is still one of the best trailers that I've ever seen in relation to Doctor Who. That first trailer with Christopher Eccleston and Billy Piper. That was the perfect trailer to actually come out with, and I was sold straight away. But that saved my life, so I'll always be grateful that he saved me life. He probably regrets that now, obviously, but who gives a fucking shit? Do you know what I mean?
It's all right, no, you've just been radicalized into a bastard.
I've been sent here. I have a purpose in life, and this is my purpose: to defend my country and to defend the TV and movies that I love. And that might sound stupid to some people, but that's the reality, man. I believe I'm here for a reason because I should be dead. And trust me, I should be dead. But I'm not, thankfully, you know, and I value my life, so don't be worrying. I know there's a couple of people worrying because I put up a song the other day and it was very sad, and people were like, "No, are you all right?" Yeah, I'm grand. It was just a fucking song, lads. Just a fucking song. If I'm depressed, you know, I'll tell you, Zan. I'm not an open fucking book. So, yeah, I'm all right. But that was Daniel. He
Oh dear. Come on.
Don't read too much into it. I'm perfectly fine. I know I have my problems like everybody else, but I'm dealing with it the best way I can. And if I do ever feel down, as Lee has always said, no, you can always come and talk to me, blah, blah, blah. Jack is the same. And I've had many offers as well from other people if I need to talk. So yous are all great. You don't have to worry about me. I will let you know if I'm feeling down, because you know you don't get through these things on your own anyway. I've learned that growing up. You know, you do need help. Some people do struggle, and the best thing to do, and I would say the best advice I'd give to anybody out there, if you are struggling, go and talk to someone. It's always good, because you know, even a stranger, because it can be a weight lifted off your shoulder. It's as simple as that. And
unless you're RTD, you can fuck off.
I'm always here for everybody, even if I don't answer my phone all the time and stuff. I am here for people, and if I see that messages and people are talking to me and they're feeling a bit down, you can come and talk to me. I'm always here. You know, that's the type of person I am, because I've been through it and I know what it's like. So, you know, I know a lot of people are going through a lot of stuff since I've been away. There's a few years out there that I know personally that have been going through some struggles. So I understand it, and I'm here for you. You all know that. You can come talk to me anytime, and I'll do the same if I'm feeling that way. So you don't have to worry about me, okay? I just want to put the matter to rest. I'm not suicidal, right? I just put up a fucking song. And Matthew likes the song, by the way. Thank you, Matthew. Thank you. I did actually see, that's the thing. That song, I actually wrote the lyrics for that. That's just it's just, when I was younger, I did a lot of poetry, and I wrote a lot of songs growing up as a kid, because I was very musical. Now I'm not at the level of leader, you know, who can go and record these songs and do deadly fucking songs and stuff like that. But I did fancy myself a bit of a singer-songwriter, and I used to write songs and write poetry back in the day. Now I just don't have the brain for it. But that, when I start getting into the AI, I don't know what it was. You see, AI, I like it to a certain extent, but I do think it has its limits, and we'll get into an AI
Oh dear. Keep cutting out
down the road. If AI is used in a respectful manner and you're using it for a bit of fun like I am, I don't think you're doing any harm, to be quite honest with you. Do you know what I mean? It's when we're going to get into this conversation. I always said it with AI, there's going to be an issue with it, especially with dead actors and where the legalities are in relation to AI and bringing dead people back to life. Now, it's different if an actor or an actress before they die agree to it. I have no problem with that. That's their choice. Personally speaking, I don't think you should be bringing any dead actor or actress back to life using AI, personally, right? But we'll get into that in a different conversation. What, we'll go for another half hour. I know I shouldn't really, but we'll go for another half hour because I have been talking quite a lot. And Lee actually has been very quiet this stream, so we better give him a bit of a chance to actually say a few words. Fucking hell. Do you know what? It actually is weird. This is the first stream that you've actually come on where you have not said that much. It's normally Jack, but today you haven't said very much. Have I lost everybody?
No, sorry, I'm just waiting for him to say something.
Oh no, they're very quiet. You're very
quiet. I'm giving air, to Jack. Doesn't get a chance.
Jack. Yeah.
Well, I don't personally have a problem with AI as long as it's used as a tool to complement original work. I think if you're just using it to do it for you rather than to add as a tool to the toolbox, I think it should be used in concert with your own abilities. It's like when Jack uses his art and then uses AI to enhance it in some way. It's no different to, let's say, if you're a producer, you produce someone's work, they record a song, a producer then works on it to make it sound almost completely different. It's basically that, it's just a tool. It's just a tool. But yeah,
that's all it is. And
people can sniff out inauthenticity quite easily, I think. Well, I'd like to think so anyway.
People out there, people that they've created. But here's the thing: these people don't understand is that okay, you've made a little video using AI, but it looks AI. It's still AI slop. You're never going to compete against Hollywood. Yeah, Hollywood is nobody is going to sit here and say Hollywood is perfect or not. And I think they have gotten lazy. And I do think that if they do start embracing AI, but start relying on AI rather than what Lee said there, using AI as a tool to help along with the process, then they're fucked. But I don't believe Hollywood will do that. But then when I look with the CGI, the green screen, the blue screen, and all the way that went, then I understand the worry. But I don't think AI is going to be putting people out of business. I think they'll get a grip of it, and they should. And I think it should be. People are going to hate me for saying this, but I think it's regulated AI. I think it should be. I don't think that, we've seen abuses of AI. Let's be honest about it. We have. We've seen, especially on X, we've seen abuses of AI, and it shouldn't be allowed. I disagree with it. You can't just take a random person's fucking picture, and start fucking AIing it because you don't agree with them or whatever it is. You know what I mean? That shouldn't be used for that. It should be used within the creative process as a tool. That's it. It shouldn't take over the work that people do. We're getting too lazy. Maybe do it. Look, if they go down that route, let them. It will kill Hollywood. And then, do you know what? Others will step up to the plate. This is the thing. People realize others will step up to the plate. Okay? Others will do it the right way. Right? You already see some fans out there. They've created their own franchises now. They create their own comic books. Right? May not be as good as Hollywood level, but if you compare it to what we've been getting out of Hollywood the last 10, 15 years, it's miles better than that Hollywood is throwing out at the moment. Hollywood cannot continue down this path anyway. right? You look at all the major studios now having to come together to survive. I mean, it baffles me. Lee, this is the thing that baffles me, right? They've made flop after flop, whether it be TV show or movie, and they're still questioning why these things are flopping. Like, that baffles me because
it's because they refuse to look at they refuse to acknowledge everything that we've been saying for the last few years, and they know exactly what the problem is, but they're floundering around trying to find any excuse for it not to be the case. So they're pretending not to know what the issue is, whilst actively trying to suggest, oh, it might be something there, it might be this, might be something to do with this, but it's never tackling the actual issues that we've been screaming about from the hilltops for years. You know, it's a complete willful denial. They're in denial. And it's amazing because we're not talking about little piffling things. We're talking about millions and millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And they're pissing it up the wall because they refuse or cannot admit that they're wrong on political social issues, because by doing that you're making an admission of failure when you're actually trying to look for something else to blame, scapegoat anything else but the core issue. You know, you can have your political views, you can have your social issues, you can put them into your shows and your films by all means, but do it well written, do it in a way that doesn't turn your audience off. And it's not just the audience that you think are the evil bigots. There are a lot of people out there who are part of these, you know, diverse groups of people who are also pissed off with it because they feel patronized. They feel it doesn't represent them at all. And it doesn't matter what group that may be, you know, diverse and, you know, minority or whatever. If you don't share the politics, they don't give a shit about your voice. They don't give a shit about your representation.
No.
You're just another, you know, tool of the white, you know, supremacy or whatever bullshit that they come up with. It's just an excuse to excuse very low effort talent that is nearly non-existent. And I've said this before, people like Russell T Davies and that ilk only got to their positions because someone above them was of mediocre talent and didn't want to be shown up either. And that can be traced all the way back. Nepotism, cronyism, it's always the same. Do not hire people better than you. So you hire people beneath you who are not as good as you. And that's a diminishing return. So, you know, when you see these things handed down to the next person and the next person, it doesn't get better. It's just more of the same. And also, you know, they're all the believers of the true religion, you know, and they hire beneath them every single time. They don't want to hire people who make them look bad. So they can,
and then they compound that then by, you know, when they bring in these people, then they compound the situation because PD brought up a perfect point there. He said in relation to the media, but I think TV shows do it as well. They jump onto the trend bandwagon. Doctor Who is chasing trends now. It's not actually creating stories and setting the trends. It's chasing trends, and that's the difference.
It became Americanized. When trying to chase the American audience, they betrayed what was appealing to the American audience, which was its Britishness, which was its, you know, sort of hokiness. You know, it wasn't this big budget cinematic experience with massive booms and bashes and CGI monsters and whatnot. That came later. Well, I mean, it was always there, but it was always quite hokey. And this, even though that may look dated today, you know, that at least it had its certain charm to it. But I'd say, you know, when you start trying to be Buffy and then trying to be Stranger Things and then trying to be something else, now it's like trying to be bloody Sex Education. It's got nothing to do with science fiction, but they're trying to make it like that anyway. And it doesn't work. You know, I mean, when Doctor Who in the 70s did, you know, homages to the horror classics. It did it in a very scientific science fiction kind of context, and keeping that adventure to it, you know, the mystery and the adventure and it worked. That aesthetic worked because it was simple. It was sympathetic to Doctor Who's format. But now you're trying to crowbar all these formats into Doctor Who, which do not work. I don't think, and I never thought that the format of Doctor Who in New Who worked as well as the classic era, because again, they sacrificed that format from, you know, that worked so successfully for 26 years for a format that appeals mostly to Americans who they think can't grasp serialization within a season. And I think that was a big mistake. I think that they underestimated that. But that, like I say, they sold out their soul, the American money, not the audience. The audience loved it for being British and appreciated its kind of haughtiness, its kind of, you know, very British attitudes and humor and all that, you know, that quirky little British show. That's what they loved it for. You take that away, you try to turn it into a Marvel or Sex Education or some Netflix show, it's going to go the same way as those Netflix shows. They're going to lose interest. It's going to become like everything else. And eventually interest wanes because it isn't the in thing anymore, because you've trendified it. You've made it trendy. When something becomes trendy, that's uh-oh time. You know, you've got to go, you know,
Doctor Who is a unique thing, and it needs to stay unique, and it becomes like that's what they try to do. They try to make it generic, and you can't do that with Doctor Who.
It's like giving false tits and eyelashes onto the Doctor. You know, that's what it's like. It's like lipstick on a pig. You can't dress it up and then shove it down a red carpet and say, "Look at our show, isn't it Hollywood?" It's not meant to be.
Well, let's look. What I can say is that the BBC now, the ball is firmly in their hands. But got to be honest with you, folks,
I think the ball's been in their hands for quite a while.
Yeah, and I got to be honest with you, I don't see them changing in relation to Doctor Who. Sure, they're bringing out Top Gear again, and if you've seen the 3 new presenters of Top Gear, you can see that they still haven't learned any lessons. Now, there's no DEI hires, but the people that they've gotten are geeks and stuff like that, and you wouldn't see them as driving fast cars and stuff like that. So Top Gear, one of their big IPs, just like Doctor Who, that's coming back, but it's going to flop. It's not going to do well. Right now, the show that's doing well for BBC is The Traders. It's the only thing that hasn't, you know, that BBC seem to be doing consistently right. And if they only took lessons from that, showing that if you actually entertain an audience, because look at, they're getting double figures in the views. And this is the thing, you know, modern Doctor Who shouldn't be failing as much as it is. For me, for modern Doctor Who to be a success now in today's climate, if you do take into a fact that you know, TV landscape has changed, which I think is a bit of a bullshit cop out, to be quite honest with you, because The Traders and shows like Peaky Blinders and what was that one, Line of Duty, that Daniel used to watch? You know, these shows were doing entertaining storylines and we're getting double figures in the views. So for me, I've always said, if they did Doctor Who right and it was entertaining, there is no reason why Doctor Who in the modern era shouldn't get at least 8 to 10 million in overnights. That to me is a success, right? Anything below that is still okay, but you know, you're looking at the show now, we're down to under 2 million, and you still have gobshites out there like Davies and the rest of them. And I'll call him out, I don't give a shit. You can cry all he wants, still defending this piece of shit after what he said a few days back. Like, this is the reason why the show's in the shitter as well, because of little sellouts like him, right? And there's plenty of them out there. There's plenty of them out there, right? They have aided in the destruction of Doctor Who. They're not fans. They never will be. Okay? So, you know, people need to stop listening to idiots like that and start listening to the people that have been warning you for years that the direction that this show has gone in is all wrong, and this is why you're losing ratings. Now, if BBC don't take on board what's happened, which I don't think they will personally, it's they no more chances. I mean, they don't. I don't see where. I'm trying to figure out how this show survives now. Or after Disney. Disney should have been. Look, people want to blame Disney, right? I hate Disney. You can't blame Disney for this. It wasn't Disney's fault. This was all down to RTD, Jane Tranter, RTD, fucking and Bad Wolf Studios, right? They made the decisions, right? They were given a golden goose. They were given a golden paycheck, right? 100 million, right? Annie, I tell you now one thing. Stephen Moffat would have snapped his hands for that 100 million. Even Chris fucking Chibnall would have snapped his hands for that 100 fucking million, right? And RTD was supposed to come back and give us something that we kind of remember was Doctor Who, but when we kind of look back now, we were conned, right? It's over. I've accepted that it's over. It doesn't survive. It can't. It just can't. Even this Christmas, it's not going to survive. It can't. It's gone too far now. The damage is done. And the thing about it is the best thing would be for this show to go on hiatus. So all those little simps and all of those little sellouts will be older when the show comes back. And hopefully then by the time the show comes back, the new generation has a bit of head on their shoulders and doesn't buy into all of this wokey fucking nonsense and decides that they want a proper version of Doctor Who. But that's the only way. This show has to at least go on hiatus for at least 10 years. That's my opinion now. 10 years at least, right? That's just at least. As Lee said, just to kind of get all that scruffiness and that dirt away and to forget about it.
Well, it needs to go away long enough for people to try and forget the disaster it's been turned into, but also to miss the things they loved about it.
I also think it needs to, when it comes back, it needs to really come back as something that can be taken seriously. And it needs to come back, and anything that happened from 2005 to 26 needs to be completely forgotten. It needs to come back as a fresh IP, and it needs to come back as this is Doctor Who, this is a serious science fiction adventure show. These are called Daleks, they're the main villains. These are called the Time Lords, they're the Doctor's race, but you might not learn that until a bit later on. This is the TARDIS. Bet you've never seen anything like this before. It's a spaceship that's bigger on the inside, can travel through time, and looks like an object from the 1960s. You know, it needs to come back. It needs to bring in an entirely new audience as well as the old ones. And if people want to go back and discover classic Who, they can. If people want to go back and watch that utter shite that's been going for 20 years, they can. But the important thing is it needs to come back as something fresh that can be taken seriously and isn't going to be used for any kind of ideology. And I think the only way that's going to happen is if the BBC changes, which I don't know if 10 years will be enough for them.
Just don't address anything that went before. If you're going to address anything that went before, address it from Classic Who. But just don't address anything from the last 20-odd years, because you do that, it's too much baggage.
Yeah.
The original run was the Bible.
But not only that, I think they should take a lot of inspiration from the original run and maybe try not remake stories scene for scene, but, you know, reintroduce the Daleks by having the Doctor go to a mysterious planet that's flooded with radiation and, oh, look, there are these creatures here.
And don't mention what regeneration the Doctor is.
No. Don't even mention who the Doctor is or what his species is. That can come in later on.
Exactly. That it needs a proper clean slate.
Bring the mystery back.
Yeah, exactly. It needs to be built up that way now. They need to go back to basics, basically. And Leland thinks 5 years. I think Leland, in fairness, I get your 5 years, but I think to get the bad taste out of Doctor Who fans' mouth, And all of the shit that's gone on, it's going to take more than 5 years.
The problem with 5 years is it's just not long enough to miss it enough. It's not long enough to forget the mess. It's not long enough for the culture to change.
Exactly.
And it's wishful thinking. And I'm not saying this in a negative way to you, Leland. I mean this in all due respect. But it is wishful thinking. We would all love it to come back tomorrow and be absolutely fucking what we want it to be.
Exactly.
But it's not going to be. And the danger of it coming back so soon is that nothing will have
still tainted. It'll be still tainted by what came before, and that's the problem that we have.
And we wish it, but it's not going to be. No matter how much we want it to be, it's not going to be what we want it to be if it comes back that quickly. Too much is going on.
Think about Leland. You don't have just the show that's being destroyed. The Doctor Who fandom in itself has been utterly disenfranchised as well. Yeah. See, that's the issue that we have. The fans.
I hate to say it, and I know some people are probably going to take this the wrong way, but I almost feel like these fans on both sides just need to calm down and move on with their lives before this show can come back. It needs to come back with no controversy, and any fans who try and tell it needs to be a certain way, the writers should just completely ignore. Quite honestly, because I noticed this elitism in fans, and it's not just the wokies, it's all, who all think, it has to be a certain way, it's like it will be whatever it should be, and I think if someone really has an understanding of what Doctor Who should be, they'll make a good show. But Leland, in response to that, this is what's insane. If the show had been cancelled when it was supposed to be, when Jodie Whittaker regenerated, it would have been going 4 years now since that happened, just to put it in perspective for you.
Yeah, and I think we've become a little bit eager to have her back now, in fairness, if you think about it, because the female Doctor didn't do as much, as I said, even though I agree with what you said earlier on, Jack, in relation to Chibnall and Moffat, Chibnall and RTD. Chibnall still did do damage, but as I said, compared to what RTD has done, I think the damage that Chibnall did was easily rectified. If it went on a break for 4 or 5 years, we could have had it back now. As you said, we could be sitting here today now all excited for more new Doctor Who if we didn't have RTD and it was just ended on the Moffat, the Chibnall era when it should have. And by the way, it was cancelled, by the way. Just let you know, like, I was right all along. Like, it was actually cancelled. And why they brought it back is it's still, look, I suppose RTD, 100 million off Disney, I suppose you're going to take that gamble. It wouldn't have been a gamble I would have took anyway if I was working for the BBC. I would have said, hang on a minute here. We need to actually take a break, not do more Doctor Who. The environment is not right for us to do new seasons of Doctor Who. And that's the way the thinking should have been. But no, the BBC, as I said, I did that article last year and said that BBC are determined, even after this Disney disaster, are determined to make Doctor Who successful. Well, the only way you're going to do that is just put it on a break, please, and then bring it back at the right time. You
got to think, like, when they say we're determined to make Doctor Who successful, what are you talking about? That actually good science fiction show that you guys hated ever since it was invented, or the show, the gay show that reflects your values?
Yeah.
Which Doctor Who are you referring to? Because it's funny, when it was actually good, you didn't give a monkey's toss about it, because if you did, you'd have sacked Stephen Moffat after season 7, because it was that bloody awful. And I should know because we've been watching it. If you loved it and cared about it so much, you'd have never cancelled it in '89. So when you say you want Doctor Who to be successful, what you're actually saying is we can't admit that the woke agenda failed, and we can't quit, because if we do, it will show that the toxic fans were right. That's what they're saying.
Gorenstein Media says, hard disagree. Even if you can excuse the Whittaker era, it opened the door for Russell to come back. Well, they did actually shelve it. It's a fact that it was actually cancelled. And then there was rumours that, obviously, that Disney were interested. And then Bad Wolf Studios, along with RTD, and Stephen Moffat was also interviewed. I spoke about this at the time. Stephen Moffat's production company and RTD's production company were fighting for the right to move forward with Doctor Who, and because RTD was deemed the more successful writer, his Bad Wolf Studios won out in the end. So it was actually cancelled. Gary from Neurotics also was one of the first channels to report on the cancellation of Doctor Who. It was actually cancelled, and it was brought back because RTD and Stephen Moffat were keen to bring it back. And in fairness, you can't really blame the BBC. You know, they've got the two showrunners that, in their eyes, made Doctor Who successful. So, of course, they were going to take that gamble and take the 100 million. But for me, if I were Disney, and I was the boss of Disney, I'd be suing RTD right now. I'd be suing them for compensation, because that's not what Disney. Listen, I know this for a fact. Disney wanted Doctor Who. That's what they wanted. They wanted Doctor Who. They didn't want what RTD gave them. They actually wanted Doctor Who. And we know Disney are woke, right? But for Doctor Who, they wanted Doctor Who. They wanted this franchise because they believed that they could make it global, right? Now, whether that was right or wrong, that's what Disney wanted, right? They wanted to make it global. They thought it was a good enough show to become a global success, right? And that's why they pumped the money that they pumped into it, right? It was RTD that fucked it up, not Disney. And listen, and I'll still defend Disney on this. I hate Disney, but Disney is not getting the blame for this. Disney is not responsible for this shit era, right? RTD is and Jane Tranter are responsible for this shit era.
I mean,
like,
I'm not
the
saying
only thing that Disney is guilty of is giving the fucking idiots 100 million. Go on, Jack.
Sorry, I'm not saying I'm like anything that RTD's produced, obviously, but you know, when it was announced that Disney was taking over Doctor Who, and they were saying, "Oh, we're going to make it global, we're going to make it," I was cringing, because you know, I just thought, I don't think that's what Doctor Who is. I don't think, I think it's loved all around the world, just like Wallace and Gromit was loved all around the world because of its Britishness. And the first thing I kept thinking was, oh God, they're going to make it into like a Marvel franchise, and it's going to. So do you know what, Noel? Maybe, I know we're all dreading and we're all upset now because of what this idiot's done to it, but maybe there's a silver lining to this. It didn't cross the point of no return, and maybe because it didn't take off, it's going to be shelved so that we can fix it, you know, rather than share it with everybody and bits get pulled off and it's scattered around all over the place. At least it's all together and safely on the shelf, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does. I suppose we should be kind of, well, or I won't say thank Disney, but I'm kind of glad Disney did pull the plug, because you are right. You know, if Disney had decided to continue, it just get worse. I think RTD would have got completely. I mean, he would have turned someone. I think it was PD Rich that said it earlier on. He was trying to turn it into Queer as Folk 3. I absolutely agree with that. I mean, look, he said, he openly admitted that to him, Doctor Who is a gay show, and I'm sorry, no disrespect, but Doctor Who is not a gay show. Right.
And this is an alleged fan.
Right. It's not. He's not a fan. He's not. With Stephen Moffat, right, there was photographs of Stephen Moffat growing up. You knew he's a fan. Peter Capaldi was the same. Chris Chibnall was the same. Bloody hell, we seen the interview with fucking Chris Chibnall going after Pip and Jane Baker. So at least we could say there were fans that were passionate for the show. We've never seen RTD, photographs of RTD at fan events or fan cons or anything like that. He was never a fan.
I was never a fan. I watched it. It was black and white.
Yeah, you watched black and white. Yeah, and then you thought that this version of Doctor Who should be done. I mean, no fan in their right mind, no Doctor Who fan that has the privilege and the power that RTD has would write that shit, because a fan would understand that that's not what fans want. But the fact of the matter is, he's got an ego and he is in charge. And he will do Doctor Who the way he deems it should be. Same with Chibs. Chibs did the same as well, as Jack said earlier on. They all did their own thing with it. Some did it worse than others, but they all tried to do their own thing with it. And that's wrong, right? Classic Who's the blueprint. Classic Who is where you look for your inspiration, right? That's it. You've got all the source material there. This is what pisses me off. Moffat, RTD, Moffat, Chibnall, RTD2, they had the source material there. They've had the source material there for decades, and yet they still decided to do their own thing with it. And I get it to a certain extent that you want to put your own kind of spin on it for a modern audience, but if you got straight too far away from what makes the show, it's hearty, then forget about it. The purists were right all along. The purists were right all along, because there's purists out there that didn't like 2005 Doctor Who, and they were actually condemning fans like myself that bought into this. And you know what? When I look back, I have to say they were absolutely spot on. We should have listened to them both. There you go. Oh man, I'm sad now. It's not that. It's just this show could have. I mean, we're sitting here. This show does have longevity. It does. I mean, the main character can regenerate. There's so many possibilities, and I just can't understand how they fucked it up time and time again. It just doesn't make any sense. The source material is fucking there for you. You can't fuck this up. That's what pisses me. You can't. You just can't fuck this up, but they have. So look, it needs more than I get why people are saying 5, maybe 6, 7 years. No, it needs to go away for over a decade. To get rid of what? Because listen, there's fans. Remember when we first started this channel, there are people that are no longer in this live chat, right? Because they walked away from the fandom. Remember that. That's the damage that has been done. It's not just about the show. The fandom needs time to heal, right? The fandom needs time to heal. And there's a lot of older fans my age that are just absolutely disillusioned and heartbroken. And they are heartbroken. And they'll never forgive the treatment of the show and the fans, right? And that's the one thing that out of all of this, no matter how bad the show has been, the way the fans have been treated, and I'm talking about the real fans here, the way we've been treated these last few years, especially under Chibs and fucking RTD2, right? That's left a bad taste in everybody's mouth. Remember, me and Lee in particular were targeted by people on Twitter when it was called Twitter, right? 2,000 strong account coming after me and Lee because of our opinions over the female doctor, being threatened, right? Sent death threats, people saying that they're gonna murder me dog, me missus, me. Lee got some of the worst homophobia I've ever fucking seen in the fandom. Jack gets told fuck off by the writer, the head showrunner of Doctor Who. This is what I mean. 5 years is not long enough. It needs to go away for longer, right? Maybe the same amount of time as Classic Era went away for. That's how bad it is, unfortunately. And I just feel, look, this is the thing. They could strike gold and they could get it right. But then the problem that you have is how many of the fans is going to return. And that's the problem that they have. That's why it needs to go on hiatus. Let the fans breathe. Let them heal.
Maybe 2043. Fingers crossed for then.
Just let fans heal first. The fans have to heal. And then the wokey lot, they'll be growing up anyway. They may cop on to themselves, but I imagine most of them won't. But few of them will, right? And then maybe they'll look at it a different way. But at the end of the day, there is no hope for this show going forward now. And this Christmas special, if it does happen, because if you're hearing the stuff that I'm hearing, I mean, it seems to be an absolute train wreck behind the scenes. They are struggling, folks. They are struggling. And the rumours that they can't cast anybody, I as I said in the last stream, they will eventually cast someone, but it's not as easy as the old days of getting an actor to take this role, because people are aware and extremely aware of what's happened in the fandom and what's happening with the show, and the type of it's the same as well as the type of behavior as well. Some of these actors are like, well, it's not worth it. It's not worth it, because why should they go into the snake pit? Do you know what I mean? Because that's what it is right now. Because imagine, and rightly so, an actor comes in, he starts doing the same shit again, right, like all the other actors have done. But we're gonna go after him, and rightly fucking so. So there's a lot of that going on. People are just looking at it. No, I don't think this is for me. Right now, I do believe they will cast someone, but I'm telling you now, it's not. It hasn't been. It's not easy. It's not easy. There's. I can tell you now for a fact that it's already being turned down by several people.
I think what's going to be quite insane is, you know, when I grew up with New Who, you had a sort of continuity of doctors. So, you know, you'd go to conventions, go to exhibitions, and you'd see, oh, this is Doctor 1, that's his costume, Doctor 2, Doctor 3, Doctor 4. I don't know what they're going to do at this point. I mean, any future iteration of the show, you know, it just can't take New Who on board, because you're just going to have these bunch of Muppets wearing ridiculous clothes. You know, I mean, it could be interesting for people in the future to go, oh, wow, I can't believe they actually dress like that. That's quite sad. You know, but...
We can't say, I still think we can't say that yet, but Ncuti Gatwa was never cast as the Doctor originally. That's all I could say. But when you do eventually find out the actor that they got...
can I reveal it?
Yous will be absolutely horrified that that they went with Ncuti Gatwa, to be honest with you, because all I can say is just that the actor that they had cast and given the job to, let's just say, for me personally speaking, without giving his name away, for me personally speaking, I think it would have been the best casting since Peter Capaldi.
Yeah, but with the scripts, Noel, with the scripts.
True. Obviously, the scripts, we seen what Ncuti got. I agree with you. But in terms of the actor that they had lined up, it was a sensational pick. It was a sensational pick. And to go from that pick to Ncuti Gatwa. But listen, one day we'll be able to tell you. We just can't say nothing now. I know it wasn't Shane. It wasn't Michael Shane. So
can I give a little clue but not say it?
No.
I don't know, Lee. That's up to Lee, isn't it? Because I know Lee got that information as well. So I mean, I think Lee has been very
well, no,
cautious.
this isn't going to give away. This is not going to make it obvious.
Right, go on then. If Lee is okay with it,
he was in the Chronicles of Narnia.
So okay, yeah. Right, so yeah, leave it at that, because we don't want to say any more yet. We will be able to tell you what, you just have to wait, because it's because if we were to say that, and basically what happened is we probably get sued. So we have to be careful what we say. We can't give, because
it's about you know, betraying the trust of somebody.
Yeah, it's betraying the trust as well. But not only that, it's I swear to good God, man, unbelievable. When I was told, I was like, so no way. And that just goes to, and that's when you knew Doctor Who was doomed, actually. When that happened, it was doomed. RTD only cast Ncuti. I could say this. RTD only brought Ncuti Gatwa in just because he fancied him. And that's the bottom line. And I'm sorry, but that's the reality. He didn't cast Ncuti Gatwa based off his talent. He cast him because he thought he had a chance with him. Right? Because, you know, you see RTD now and you see who he's with now. Okay? You know, so, yeah. That's all I'm going to say because I don't want to get into trouble on YouTube. But let's just say he didn't cast him because of his acting ability. He cast him for another sort of ability. Sorry, couldn't. I have to be careful because I am on YouTube. But I don't give a fuck. It's true. Anyway, guys,
oh my lord!
2 hour mark. I'm leaving after the 2 hour mark. So if there's nothing else you want to say in relation to RTD, go ahead.
Well, I just think the man's too stupid to realise he's past it. I just think he's intellectually challenged. I think he's politically radicalized. I think he's a bastard. And I don't think he represents any kind of master race, frankly. If what he said was true, he'd certainly be the least competent. I just think he's an embarrassment. I think he's an embarrassment we're going to take years to get over in this fandom.
Yeah.
And he's a sellout. He's a massive sellout. He sold out the show for his own political, selfish desires.
Yeah,
and it was never there for him. It's not his personal playground. I'm sorry. It belongs to the fans. Doctor Who belongs to the fans. It's that old, and we've invested so much time, money, love into this institution that really we are the owners of Doctor Who. And he's forgotten that, and he thinks he's the god of Doctor Who. He's not. If anything, he's the other. He's the
Antichrist of Doctor Who. If we can say he's the Antichrist, he's everything that's wrong with modern Who.
I wish him well in his retirement. I hope that he. I hope that he ushers that retirement sooner. Look,
I don't wish him the best.
I don't.
I hope he rots. I hope he rots.
I'm just saying it because I'm being nice.
Don't be nice. Be an asshole about it.
All right, he's a CUNT. But I just think that, look, whatever's going on in his head, right? Just don't make it our problem, Russell. That's a you problem.
Yeah.
Stop trying to project all that crap.
Yeah, he's angry at the world. He's angry at the world. Look, I said it. I think he changed when his partner that he was with sadly passed away. And I don't think he's been the same since. And I think he's just been angry and bitter at the world since then. And I can understand it to a certain extent, but to then go and then push your crap on Doctor Who and to use it to lecture the world and to be angry at people.
Well, I suspect he was at his lowest point when that happened, and when he was in America, that's when
that brainwashed
these
him.
people climbed into his brain when he was at his most vulnerable.
Yeah,
and that's where he got radicalized. I'm pretty sure. I'm sure he's always been a bit.
No, he's always been radical.
But I think ultimately that his experiences there and beyond that it informed his mental state, and I think that was imprinted on him when he was at probably his most vulnerable, and that's when he got his most angriest. And I think that you've got unresolved issues there, Russell, and I would use your money wisely and get some counselling, frankly.
Right, before we do end the stream, I don't want to end it on RTD and us fucking bashing him, right? But there has been some positivity. There has been. All right, let's go ahead. Go on. Bash him first, and go on.
Well, I just want to say thank you for bringing Doctor Who back in 2005 and introducing me to it. Gave me a lot of warm, happy childhood memories. I was an only child. My one friend that I did have was abusive and horrible. Had problems at home, had problems at school, had problems because I didn't know that I was autistic for many years. So a lot of issues in my life, and Doctor Who was a bright light that helped keep me going, made me passionate. I spent years of my high school life designing a Doctor Who game just out of sheer love for it. And managed to carry on that love into my teenage years, mostly because of Classic Who, because New Who had gone so bad. And then, just after we'd been through the most horrendous thing in the world, the thing that I can't name, and all this shit that we've been through, you came back and you proved that, childhood should really stay where it is. And you completely violated that. You violated something that I loved. You've completely rewritten my entire history and made me see the thing that I thought was positive as a negative. And yeah, there's very few people that could do something like that. So now I no longer have that thing that helped, me to keep going, I suppose. But if there's one thing that came out of it, is I met some great friends because of this show. And the irony is Doctor Who is still bringing people together despite it being out of hatred for it instead of love. And let me tell you this, RTD, one day you might be on your deathbed and suddenly realize, wow, maybe I was the one who was out of touch. I doubt it, but maybe. So
I would love him to come to that conclusion, but I think because he's such an egomaniac, Jack, unfortunately, he will die. He will die in his bed alone, and he'll still be bitter and screaming at the world. Unfortunately, that's the type he looks like, which is sad. Which is sad because look, you are right. He gave me good memories. Like, I can't deny that, but he has tainted them. And a lot of people are saying, "Well said, Jack," and I agree. Well said, because I think people need to understand, especially those little sellout pricks out there. You need to understand the damage that actually has been done. It's not just the show; it's the psychology of fans out there, their mental health. It's all of it. This is why it needs to disappear.
Yeah.
That's it. But here, we've got 10 minutes left, and I do want to talk about something positive, whether it's a positive or not, because I spoke to Jack about this, because Jack was talking about how they were using AI with the classic stuff. But as you all heard, remember we reported on it that Film Fabulous had found, they had said at the time that they thought they had found missing episodes of classic Doctor Who. And it turns out the Dalek Master Plan, 2 episodes apparently were found, and we're going to be seeing them this Easter. Now, got to ask you guys, are you actually happy that these were found? Because if you see what they've been doing now lately, they've been incorporating AI, and we even seen during the Chris Chibnall era with the animations, they were putting things in like Sacha Dhawan's Master in certain modern Who into classic Who. So I just want to ask, first of all, are you happy that these were found, and are you worried though that BBC might tamper with them? I'll start off with you first, Jack, because we did have this conversation behind the scenes. You were saying you were watching a certain classic story and there was AI slop in it, and you weren't happy about that. So I want to ask you, are you happy that they found these episodes, but are you worried that they might, start messing around with these missing episodes?
Well, I'm overjoyed that they found these episodes in particular, because I'm a huge Dalek fan, and Master Plan is the only one that I haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
So overjoyed. And Day of Armageddon, which is an episode of Master Plan, was the first ever classic Who imagery, let alone episode, that I ever saw. So, this story means quite a lot to me. But yeah, from what I know, we've got 3 episodes in the Lost in Time box set, and now they found 2 more. And I think there might have been 10 or 12 episodes to this story. I think it went on for months. So, it's great that we found 2 more. If they do decide to do an animation, which I hope they don't, because they're just so bad, then, they better not insert any stuff in there. Please don't temper with them. Just clean them up and restore them. Don't use AI to smooth everything out and make it look weird. But yeah, if they start claiming it like their property and they start inserting their crap in there, there's going to be war. Like, I think the original writers of the episode should or the estate of them should just bloody sue if these guys try to insert their shit into them.
But here, I look at it this way. This could be a situation where they do this and then people say, hang on a minute now, why the fuck? You know what I mean? I think a lot of fans that have been kind of on the fence or have ignored our concerns, if they start doing the classic stuff, which we've seen early in the Chibnall era with the animations, and I do agree with you, the animations are absolutely fucking shocking. That was the thing that I was actually happy about Disney being involved, because I thought to myself, you know, they've got an animation studio. Imagine what they could do with the animation.
The same thing.
You know,
that never happened.
No, it never happened. Which I thought would have been great as part of the deal. But if you look at what RTD ended up doing, thank fuck actually, because he would have had an input in the classic stories as well, like Chibs did, and they would have made alterations to suit their narrative or change things to change the law, which we have seen the law in the canon. We can't allow that to happen.
Well, they tried to do that with the Blu-ray box sets, with their special editions that were edited by someone who clearly has an attention disorder.
We won't go. Ben Cook. Anyway, it was him. Anyway, Lee, what's your thoughts on it before we head off?
What's my thoughts on what?
On the classic Dalek Master Plan, and are you worried that they might start tampering with?
No, I don't think they're going to start tampering with it. I just think that, I don't think they've done anything after the war games. So I think they've finally learnt their lesson. I don't know. Hopeful. Look, if you're going to do colorizations, but do the whole thing properly. Don't edit it down and infect it with old crap. I don't think there's enough of it for them to tamper with unless they recover all the episodes.
Right.
I can't imagine then, can you imagine them doing a 90-minute edit of a,
no,
3 month long story,
Yeah, I don't like that either. They need to stop doing that. Ben Cook needs to stop being put in charge of editing these fucking episodes because they're fucking awful. I mean, what he is doing.
I just find it a bit of a shame that you have to watch it on iPlayer. I don't have a TV license. I won't be watching it on iPlayer. I have to, access it another way.
Is BritBox still not doing the classic episodes? Is BritBox done with the classic episodes?
I don't know if they're still doing it. I don't know. I haven't subscribed to them for ages, but that became ITVX.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, that's right.
But I don't know. But I might wait and see if it appears on archive.org. Maybe that might be a way of watching it. But
that's where I watch them. Yeah. If I don't have the box set, that's where I watch them on archive. It's fucking deadly because you can find particular stories as well. If you just want to watch a particular story, they'll have them all together, which I really like. Look, look, I'm glad they found them, but I'm not as hopeful as the other guys because the culture hasn't changed within the BBC, and it's not going to change for a long time. And think about it as well. The episodes were found, and RTD is actually still in fucking charge until Christmas at least. Right, so that's why I worry. But maybe they'll just, clean them up a little bit and then fucking put them on. Hopefully that's all they do. But I don't, as Jack said, I don't want to completely like the classic episode. See, this is what I hate as well. We've seen in recent times that they're trying to shape these classic episodes to fit a modern audience, and that's why they edit and cut them down. And they're not supposed to be watched that way. They're supposed to be watched in their original form, right? They're not for the modern audience, right? If you're a fan of Doctor Who, it doesn't matter, right? The old format. You should still enjoy the old format. And I'm not saying, you know, episodes didn't, or stories didn't drag on. Of course, some stories dragged on, but there was reasons for that. Do you know what I mean? It was the time, but I'm glad that it dragged out because you got so much more detail, so much more character development. The story was fleshed out. So, you know, when you start editing and cutting them down to 90-minute fucking stories, then you're doing the original, and it's a disservice to the original writers as well. You're basically saying that the original writers weren't good enough and they had flaws and stuff like that. And we know they did, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's the way they were written. That's the way they were presented, and that's the way they should be presented. The fact that, you know, you get Chibs and you get RTD getting people to do this sort of shit shows you the arrogance that they actually have. They think they know what's best for our show, and it is our show. They're supposed to pass it on to the next generation in a healthy state. Well, we can safely say that RTD will not be handing Doctor Who over in a healthy situation. It's probably the worst it's ever been. So I'll let the two lads have one last bit of opinion on this, and then we're going to end the stream there. But that's where I stand. And look, fingers crossed they don't do that to them. And look, it's brilliant that Film Fabulous. I remember, not Philip Morris. What's the other gobshite? Ian Levine attacked Film Fabulous because Ian Levine has gone into the AI slop and has been using his AI to bring some of these classic episodes back to life. And now he has criticised the fact that people are still looking for these. So he's completely changed his view, you know, and he attacked Film Fabulous. And there was someone that actually turned up at the place where these episodes were stored to try cause a bit of controversy, and it nearly did. And we're lucky that we actually are getting these episodes, because Ian Levine and some of his fucking fans are fucking attacking now these people, which I find utterly disgraceful. At the end of the day, AI should come nowhere near Doctor Who. We want the missing episodes, and that has not changed. So if anybody out there has any missing episodes, and I'm a small channel, I don't even know what I said, but anyway, if there is anybody out there that has some old episodes or has film stored away, check it out, give it to Film Fabulous, and let them, you know, give it to the BBC so we can get to see what we have missed out on. I mean, I hope Classic Who, personally speaking, I hope they do find every single missing episode that's lost out there. Whether they will or not now is another story. But the fact that they found these two episodes of the Dalek Master Plan gives me hope for the future, right? And they're obviously in good condition because BBC announced straight away, oh yeah, we'll be releasing them Easter. So I still do believe that there are some missing episodes out there, and they're still good quality. They're in good condition. So I don't think the hunt for classic episodes or missing episodes should stop. It should continue and fucking live in. Right? I had to get that off my chest because the prick is annoying me. He is. Imagine like being the one that saved a lot and now to change your tune because of AI is on. And by the way, I've seen some of these slop. They're shy. They're shy. And I even use AI, and I can tell you they're shy. They'll never replace the original. End the fucking story. So you can shove your AI up your arse, you can. And the fucking cheek you. Anyway, do you just want to say anything else before we finish now tonight?
No, that's it.
Grant,
can we just agree though that, you know, whatever the future is for Doctor Who, there is still a willingness and a love for the show to survive. You know, no matter how downtrodden, how down we are on the show, you know, there's still a passion there. We're still talking about it years after all this. You know, we haven't watched and enjoyed it for so many years, but we're still passionate about it. And I think that they are insane if they want to completely discombobulate us.
I hate myself for it though. I actually hate myself for it though, because why should I still, you know, long for something that has basically told me as a fan to fuck off, I'm no longer welcome. Do you know what I mean? But I think of those people that worked on the classic era. I think about all of those actors that stepped into the role, and I think that's what keeps me going. It's to protect their legacy as well and to speak up for them. Because remember, some of those people are not alive now, right? So I would say half of them at least would be turning in their graves if they saw what Doctor Who has become, because it wasn't their vision, and it clearly wasn't their vision, and it clearly wasn't the fans' vision for Doctor Who either. So, you know, I kind of do hate myself, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, you know, the reason why I'm still in this and I still talk about it and I'm still passionate like you all, I'm thinking of the people that worked on this show during the classic era. They brought some joy to us growing up. Lee going meeting Tom Baker and stuff, loads of memories there Lee has, you know, even Tom Baker telling him to fuck off. Like, but there's memories, we have memories, like, and that's the one thing that RTD, Chris Chibnall, and all these other gobshites can never take away from us either. We have those memories, and I'll be forever grateful for Classic Who. I can watch Classic Who now and not think about the bad stuff, you know, and that's good. If that changes, then we really are in trouble, because once I start, you know what I mean, I don't think I'd ever turn me back on Classic Who anyway, the way I have with New Who. New Who is gone now, as far as I'm concerned. Doctor Who died actually in the 80s. It never really came back. So that's the way I look at it. I know others won't, but that's the way I look at it now. Classic Who will always be the pinnacle. Classic Who will always be the gold standard. And as I said, modern Who doesn't have to reach the same standard as Classic Who, right? Because it's impossible, because Classic Who is out on its own. But if it got close to it, just close to it, it would be a successful show today. And you would have fans tuning in the millions. Trust me, you'd get fans tuning in the millions, and it'd be a success. But again, as Lee pointed out earlier on, this is why we're here. Unfortunately, Doctor Who is a victim of its own success, especially in the modern era. You know, it became this huge thing. Everybody remembers the Stephen Moffat, the 50th anniversary year. I mean, what a time to be a Doctor Who fan at the time. I mean, the excitement around, you know, that story that you was putting out. What was it? The Day of the Doctor, wasn't it? Like, I mean, the hype, I never seen anything like it in relation to Doctor Who. It was brilliant. As a Doctor Who fan at that time, we had our chests out and we were proud to call ourselves Doctor Who fans. And now you look, I'm embarrassed to tell people that, and I wouldn't even mind as well. Even over here in my country, the first protest I went to, I obviously got talking to a couple that I before I turned up at the protest, and as soon as I got there, yeah, man, the husband walks over to me. So no, the Doctor Who fan, how did you get into that? Right? I was like, yeah, me dad, blah blah blah. He said, that modern Who is shite, isn't it? I says, don't even get me started. But like, that's the shit. Like, even from people that are casual viewers coming to me and saying, isn't Doctor Who shit now? You must be embarrassed.
Yeah, but at least they can distinguish between the two.
Yeah,
which is that's true.
Didn't that show used to be really good with the guy with the scarf, and then didn't they make it all lame and gay?
Yeah,
you know? Basically, that's what we hear a lot. You know, from what we call normies, which I think is silly.
Casual. I call them the casual viewer.
Casual viewer. Yeah. And it's so true. You know, what is it? Starry-eyed girls, kids, like, you know, why didn't you like the new Doctor? It's a bit gay. It's a bit too gay. That's out of the mouth of babes. You know what I mean? And I think, you know, it's true. I find it too gay, and I'm gay. it's I don't want it to be gay. I've never needed it to be gay. I don't want that. That's what representation I or anyone else ever asked for. Well, apart from a few communists, you know, with Palestine flags in their profiles, you know, think that they've got every mental health issue known to man. You know, it's such a niche group that you've pandered to, who've had this inordinate amount of power for so long, when really they're just such a vocal minority. Like, why the hell have they been listened to above everyone else? That's not kindness. That's pandering, and it's not helpful to them. It's certainly not helpful to anyone else. And we've all had to endure all this nonsense for what?
Yeah.
Just to watch it get ruined and scrape through the mud.
I will add the caveat though, when people do slag off Doctor Who, right, especially modern Who though, I will defend the show to a certain extent in that, you know, it wasn't always bad. You just have to look at classic Who and stuff. Like, I will still defend the show, because at the end of the day, that's my job as a fan. If people are attacking the show, I'm going to stick up for it. And I know it's bad now, but I always say to them, well, yeah, but classic Who, like, I'll always bring back classic Who, Tom Baker, Peter Davison, you know, Pertwee, you know, it was Troughton's anniversary yesterday. Was it the day before? 2 days ago, where he went to that fan con and died of a heart attack. It was the anniversary of that last night, I think it was, which is sad. But I put up a little post, the news headline at the time. But I do defend it. I do say, look, it's the classic Who, and the fans are obviously devastated the direction the show has gone in and stuff. So I will still defend it, because at the end of the day, you know, modern Who does not reflect what this show is all about, and that's where it's being lost. But even the British public, the American public, you know, this particular era failed to capture the imagination of anybody out there, including the normies. So, you know, this could be the beginning of healing, but it needs to go away.
Yeah. And
that's it. So I'll leave it there on that. I'll get the lads to do their usual shout out. You can find me here on the TARDIS Zone. I will be back on, it's Monday now, so I will be back on Friday. And we will be delving into the AI situation, and we'll be talking a little bit about Christopher Eccleston and him keen to return to Doctor Who proper. Whether that'd be a good idea now or not, I don't know. I would have taken Christopher Eccleston back in a heartbeat a year ago, but again, as we're being speaking here today, you know, I don't think bringing Christopher, and I hate to say this because I would love to see him personally, but because of New Who and because of the way it's went, I think bringing Christopher Eccleston back wouldn't have the desired effect that people think. I think fans are so disillusioned that even if you brought Eccleston back, it's not going to rescue this, unfortunately, because the damage has already been done. And I don't want to be looking back New Who and bringing back New Who doctors to try rescue this. We need to move forward. And as loads of people said, and Ian, who does Rebecca Gold, always said it here on this channel when he used to come on. He said that Doctor Who needed to grow up. And I think Cinnamon said it earlier in the chat there as well. Doctor Who does need to grow up, and that's the version that we need moving forward. It does actually need to grow up. It can't be the way it's been during the modern era. I don't want to sell.
I think all you have to do is tell someone to watch Space Babies, and then by the time it's finished and they just want to gouge their eyes out, then tell them to go and watch Inferno and tell me that's the same show.
It's not. It's not. It's not. And it's clear as day. That's the issue. It's clear as day. Anyway, let's leave it there. As I said, we will be discussing Christopher Eccleston and AI and other Doctor Who news on Friday. So come and join me, and hopefully we'll have a panel as well for that. If the lads want to come back, they're more than welcome. And I know Cinnamon asked to come on, and I'm sure Robert would want to come on as well. So maybe we'll have 4 people on the panel on Friday, and we'll talk about the AI and Christopher Eccleston and stuff and whatever. And we'll see where the conversation goes, because as you know, we've gone on tangents here, but that's what we do on this channel. Anyway, let's hand over to the one and only Problem Being, and give us your social medias and if you have anything coming up, streams, or if you're streaming on anybody's channel or anything like that.
Well, I've got a chat there with JT on Who's Views. That's been posted recently. You can go and check that out. You can find me on Twitter at Being Problem. A little bit active, not that much, but a little bit. That's it, really.
Your YouTube channel, though?
Nah, well, there's nothing about that at the moment. I'm so caught up in so many things at the moment. But soon, eventually, don't worry, there's stuff coming.
Nice. Jack.
Yeah, if you saw the Terminator figure I showed off at the start of the stream, I hope to be reviewing that on my Drawing Jackrabbit channel, which is dead as a stone at the moment, but go and check that out if you're interested. I will try and have it uploaded soon. Also, check out my podcast channel, because I hope to do more podcasts with Lee, maybe you as well, Noel, at some point, and I just really want to get that going. Just had a lot going on at the moment, so it's like procrastination. You want to come back, but then you just, something always gets in the way. But yeah, hope to be active again soon.
Fantastic. Yeah, I'll join you on a podcast, no problem at all. That just reminds me, as I said, Dan from the Space Book sent me a message last night and asked me if I would like to do a stream on his channel. He'd forgotten it was a bank holiday weekend coming up, so I think the date that we have scheduled is the 13th of April now, isn't it? Yeah, because it's the end of March. Be the 13th of April. So if it's going ahead, I will obviously give you a heads up. But apparently, it'll be myself, Queen Charlotte, and a couple of others on there. So look out for that. I'll let you know. Now, if I do stream, that's on the Monday. So if that stream does happen, then we will do our Monday stream on Tuesday. So don't worry, you won't miss out on the stream. We'll do the stream then on the Tuesday rather than the Monday. So that's what I have coming up. And of course, I'll be here then on Fridays and Mondays talking Doctor Who and whatever other shit that comes our way. Of course, there's loads to bleed and talk about. So yeah, that's it really. So I want to thank everybody in the chat for joining us. Really appreciate it. Don't forget to hit that like button, and if you haven't subscribed, what you fucking doing? Why haven't you subscribed? I'm only messing, but no, I'm serious. Why haven't you? If you haven't, hit that fucking subscribe button, hit the like button, and also hype the stream as well. The new thing, I don't know what the point of even hype is, but it seems to do something to people's stream, so if you could hype the fucking stream as well. I think that's the only reason why I got 400 and something fucking views on the last stream, because some people did actually hype the stream. So do that for me as well. There's the like button there, and if you go across, you'll see there's a little hype button. Just press it. That's all you have to do. Oh, Cinnamon's just unsubbed. Well done. Okay. See you later. Bye-bye. Yeah, cheeky bollocks. Anyway, we will leave it there. And I'll leave the last word to RTD. Because I'm pretty sure he's got fucking something to say. So RTD, how did you enjoy the stream?
Oh, very much. I mean, I haven't really got much to say yet, but that's already been said. I just can't wait for all you little radicalized bastards to F off, and I'm looking forward to my retirement. I love the money. I love money. Money's good.
Yeah. Well, yeah, money. Yeah, that 100 million. I tell you now, man. Right, he made a fucking pretty penny out of that 100 million. Anyway, we can fucking say that with fucking confidence, because half of that money didn't go into the fucking show. I can tell you that.
No, it went up somewhere else, but I won't say where.
Yeah, up your nose. Anyway, we will leave it there, folks, and thank you for joining us, and we will talk to you on Friday. So, yeah, until then, have a good week. Stay safe as usual, and yeah, look after yourselves, and we'll talk to you soon. And don't forget to leave a comment as well. Bye.
Bye.
No outro, so we're just going to end the stream. Bye.